this is what gets me out of bed every day. This is what gets my team out of bed, to be that global leader in responsibly sourced lithium. I think one of the big thematics that you see today is the Ukraine-Russia war. You see how delicate our supply chains are with China and the reliance on Chinese supply. And so, E3 lithium can be that secure domestic source of lithium that North America has been seeking. So what makes us unique? What makes us different from any other lithium resource company? First of all, we are a DLE, direct lithium extraction technology company. We own 100% of our IP. You've heard a little bit about the DLE technology. We own that sorbent. We also are a resource company. So we have 24 million tons of inferred lithium resources here in Alberta. And so with these two combined, this makes us a market differentiator from a lot of our peers. Today, we're actually quite well funded. We have about 13 million CAD in our bank accounts. Our goal is to deliver brines to battery grade lithium hydroxide, so a much different model than our traditional conventional lithium mines. On the back end of our facility, we're looking to basically deliver that battery grade lithium product for direct sale to battery manufacturers and OEMs. It's a perfect kind of made in Canada story with the upstream and midstream occurring out in Western Canada, to then probably go into a Western Canadian or into an Ontario battery manufacturing plant. We have Stellantis and LG who have $2 billion invested in Ontario in terms of battery manufacturing and a $5 billion investment out there as well for car manufacturing. So what a perfect story to have the full vertical supply chain located in Canada. Over the summer, we penned a deal with Imperial Oil. So, this was a huge deal for us, $5 million US equity investment from one of the largest oil and gas producers in Canada. It provided us a freehold land holding to basically make a full contiguous land block for our first commercial project. And the technical support that a company the size of Imperial is huge. They have armies of engineers, geologists, all who have worked almost their entire career in the Luke Reservoir, which has provided us amazing advancements and validation on a lot of the work that we've done so far today. One of the beautiful things about working in Alberta is we've had a lot of oil and gas companies looking over the fence into our backyard saying like, oh my God, talk to us about this DLE technology. Where can we apply it? And in a perfect world, an oil and gas company, has the hope of co-production of saying like, hey, we produce oil, gas, we separate that out from our brine water, and then having the economic lithium concentrations in their brine, you could also in theory, extract that lithium as well. So what a perfect ESG thematic for an oil and gas company to extract, lithium, providing, fuel for the ICEs and lithium for the EVs. Chris, our CEO, first secured the permits for Leduc Reservoir back in 2016, took the company public in 2017. And quickly realized that we needed to pivot to create a technology to extract the lithium, and we've spent the past 5-6 years developing an in-house DLE solution. I think everyone's quite familiar with this supply-demand of lithium. I think it's safe to say that lithium is in short supply and demand is skyrocketing. So we've had a huge track record of success. Our lab pilot prototype processes about 18 barrels a day of genuine Leduc lithium brines, recovers about 97-98% of that lithium from it. It's fully automated, 2-train system, and we're looking to pilot our field pilot here early 2023. We've raised just around 30 million CAD. We've received non-dilutive grant funding from Alberta Innovates, and we hopefully will have some close visibility in terms of securing some federal and provincial funding from the government. On the resource, who's pressing it? It's not me.
Those guys at the end.
Sorry, can we go back one? Sorry, guys. On the resource side, we've tripled our inferred resource from 7 million tons to 24 million tons. This is a huge number. The global lithium reserves is around 22 million tons, and so when you look at a number like this, this is a globally significant resource. For this to be developed, you could possibly say this could represent a third. or even half of the world's lithium reserves. Can we go back one slide again? And then on the corporate front, we've signed an MOU with Pure Lithium, taking it from battery grade, from brine all the way to a battery. So at the end of 2020, we released the preliminary economic assessment outlining a production of 20,000 tons per year, flowing approximately 130,000 cubes of water per day over 20 years. We used an average selling price of about 14,000 USD per ton. We've had a lot of talk so far today about prices being around that 75, 80,000 USD per ton. And if you were to plug that number in, I'm just going to put that down. And if you were to plug that number in, the payback period would fall well under 12 months. I come from the oil and gas sector, so for me, when you look at a project like this, everyone focuses on the cash operating costs, $3,656 USD per ton. So in that bear cycle or in that low-cost commodity environment, this would be a project that could still remain profitable and weather that type of environment. Total initial capex for a project like this, 600 USD of capex. Brine production, about 1/3 of that is to drill the wells, 1/3 of that for the DLE facility itself, and the last third of that will be the conversion to lithium hydroxide. So what does this look like? I think you guys have seen similar diagrams today. It looks very much so like an oil and gas operation. You basically produce from an underground aquifer to the surface through conventional drilling, pipeline that to a DLE facility to extract the lithium on site, simply re-inject it back into the aquifer in a closed loop system, and then basically convert it to lithium hydroxide on the back end of our plant. As I said before, this is one of the first projects of its kind to basically have a domestic source of upstream and midstream, and hopefully making a made in Canada solution to connect to the downstream. So our DLE, so what is it? We've talked about ion exchange several times today. So our proprietary technology is the sorbent itself, highly selective for lithium ions. If you have a water softener at home, hard water would come into your house. That hard water would go into your ion exchange system or your water softener. That calcium would stick to the beads, and then basically soft water goes back into your household for use. The technology we use, not revolutionary, very evolutionary in terms of the sense of we did a small iteration to ion exchange and created beads that are highly selective for lithium ions. So the process path is quite simple in terms of de-risking the different steps. The first one is brine production. So the beauty of working in Alberta, we know how to drill wells. It's no different from drilling any other type of well in Alberta and producing brine or oil and gas from it. The second piece is DLE. For all intents and purposes, a company of our size, we're basically a water processing company. If you asked anyone probably 25 years ago, could you separate oil from sand? They probably would have laughed at you. But now the oil sands, represent a larger part of, Alberta's economy. And so all we're doing is extracting lithium from water. And the last piece, the lithium hydroxide conversion, already well-established flow sheet designs and an already established technology to convert that here in Canada. As I mentioned before, a secure domestic source of lithium, 24 million tons here in Alberta. The beauty of this, first discovered by Exxon Imperial back in 1947, they drilled the Leduc #1, spurred the whole oil and gas boom for Alberta. And now they're back with E3 basically trying to repurpose this aquifer to produce lithium. So what's the advantage of doing business in Alberta? At the end of 2021, the Alberta government passed Bill 82, which basically provided the regulatory certainty that E3 was looking for, basically providing all lithium production to be put under the Alberta Energy Regulator, who already oversees the oil and gas process. A lot of the existing infrastructure already exists, grid roads, power lines, pipelines, H2S handling, a lot of things that we can repurpose. We drilled a 3-well program this year. We actually were able to save on the 3rd well by repurposing a dry hole. Basically, a company drilled a $5 million hole into the aquifer. They missed their oil leg, and we were able to pick up that well for $1. And the established foundation for resource development. I don't think anywhere else in the world could you have the social license to drill. I don't think you'll have too many people that says like, please build an open pit mine here or build a salar. The beauty of working in Alberta, for our first well that we drilled, the landowner was so excited to drill the first lithium well in Alberta that he came out and set up his camper on the side of our drilling rig to watch. So you can't buy that type of social license. DLE provides the potential for industry-leading ESG, the minimized freshwater use, the land footprint that it provides. A lot of people have shown diagrams of those large salars and hard rock mines. Like the beauty of this, it takes about 3% of the land footprint, and it has very low op costs. So what's next for us? What's the road to commercialization? So in the next week or so, we'll be releasing our 3-well drilling program results in terms of the concentration. Our flow rates we already published. We're quite excited about that, showing that our aquifer is capable of producing the 130,000 cubes of water necessary to produce. And from there, we'll be looking to upgrade our inferred resource to measured and indicated. We're hoping to kick off our field pilot plant here in early 2023, complete the pre-feasibility study at the end of 2023 to assign Western Canada's or even Canada's first lithium brine reserves. From there, we'd probably be looking to sign offtake agreements, go into project financing for commercial construction and production of 20,000 tons of lithium hydroxide in early 2026. So we're traded on the TSX Venture under ETL, probably around $2, market cap of about $130 million, cash balance, 113 million CAD. Number of shares outstanding, just around 60 million, and warrants outstanding around 5.6 million for an additional $7.8 million in the bank. So a lot of peer comparisons. We've had Lake Resources present ahead of us. For us, we're quite excited in terms of size of our resource and in terms of the next steps. For us to roll out a field pilot plant, we believe there's a huge valuation gap that we can close with a lot of our billion-dollar peers. And so we're quite excited for the next 6 to 12 months as we execute on our milestones. So why invest? You can't look at that number of 24 million and look at the world's reserves and not look at it and say that it's a globally significant number. Our PEA outlines a $1.1 billion NPV. You plug in today's lithium spot prices and this number goes exponential. And the ESG characteristics, more and more people are looking at where their EV is coming from, where they're sourcing the cobalt, the graphite, the copper, the lithium. And it's important to consumers nowadays. And so the ESG characteristics of a project like this are industry leading, along with the ability for carbon capture in Alberta.